Hey everybody, Steph here, and today I want to share with you everything I learned from my challenge to myself to post on YouTube daily for the last 25 days because it has to do with reinvention, it has to do with change and challenge, and pretty much nothing to do with YouTube. This is part of my journey to becoming who I want to be, one experiment at a time. First, I want to show you the process I took in order to decide that this is the right next challenge for my journey. And then I want to show you the steps I took before even starting the challenge, as those steps are so crucially important to set yourself up for success. All right, so here's my large whiteboard, and you can probably see me in the reflection there. This is the process I always take when taking on a new challenge and trying to decide which challenge is the right next one for me. So I start with strategy because the whole idea is not just to do a whole bunch of challenges. The whole idea is for it to lead somewhere intentional. So I ask, where am I today and where do I want to be? So when I started this challenge, I had posted on YouTube, tried for weekly, but I wanted to be more consistent. I also wanted to learn about YouTube a lot more quickly. So where I wanted to be was someone who had a lot more knowledge on YouTube, who had gotten used to just shipping. As far as research, for me, this was more of a growth challenge than a YouTube algorithm challenge. So for my research, it was really, how will this grow and challenge me? And the idea of putting my ideas out there, I felt like the more ideas I put out there, the more would come. So for resources, I looked at what did I have at my fingertips. YouTube videos that are free that kind of talk to you about posting on YouTube and different tips and tricks. For budget. So this is really important because this is where some people over-index largely in order to do a challenge, and then they end up needing it to have a huge ROI because they spend so much money. So I set my budget up front. Now I do have a little mic that I bought that was for about $90, but besides that, I didn't really spend any money on this challenge. It's mostly just me taking time and energy. Which gets us to number 5. This was the tricky one for me, scheduling. I looked at the time it took for my other videos, but I said, hey, these videos are gonna be shorter, they'll be quicker. They still took quite a while. I've said this in other videos, but there were a couple nights there where I stayed up. I only got about 3 hours of sleep, and I'd like to not do that in the future. And now the review, the learnings, the wins, the challenges, and the next chapter. Do I stay the course? Do I quit? Or do I iterate or pivot? So first of all, for learnings, I learned that I don't know a lot about YouTube. I mean, I thought I knew this much, and it turns out I know this much. There was so much learning to be had, and I'm still learning every single day. And because I was doing daily reps, I found out a lot quicker where those weak spots were. So many challenges. I would say the first one is that I don't feel like I have a lot of ego. At least I don't feel like I do, or I hope I don't. But my ego was so challenged through this whole thing because it's such a visible medium. And I don't mean like me being on camera and whether I look good or not. I'm talking about the numbers being out there. And, I didn't start posting daily and then blow up. I didn't get, 10,000 followers overnight or anything like that. And I wasn't really expecting that. I expected this to be like a learning curve and practice and reps. But as I started posting on YouTube, I guess because I was posting daily, I started getting in my algorithm tons of videos on how to blow up on YouTube, and I ignored most of them, but some of them, I don't know why, I clicked. The way it seemed was everybody everywhere blows up on YouTube. Once they post a video, they just blow up. It just naturally happens. And then I look at myself and I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong? This is something I shared with my husband. It reminded me of in high school, where back in the day I used to run track, and there were certain track meets where these people I competed against were just phenomenal. And they would take off and I was way left behind by myself trying to hustle. And I became very aware of the audience, of all the people watching and how so far behind I was. That was YouTube for me. And that was something I had to just be okay with, because what you can see on the outside is not always reflective of what we can see on the inside. I remember years ago doing a weight loss contest, and I cut my calories. I was only eating healthy foods. I was working out daily, usually about 2 times a day, and I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself. I saw the results. I felt like I was starting to see a difference. I was so excited about it. And about a month and a half later, I saw some friends who I hadn't seen in over a month and a half. So I thought, wow, they're really going to notice this. I'm going to get a little bit of a, wow, Steph, you look amazing. And that's going to be my motivation to continue. That didn't happen. I went to dinner with them and nobody said a thing. It seemed like nobody noticed. It felt very disheartening to feel like I put in so much effort and it wasn't visible yet. I also realized that what they were not seeing didn't mean it was not still there. So even if it couldn't be seen to others, I was still doing the right actions. And so it was up to me to keep on keeping on. And that's how I feel about YouTube. I've put in the effort, I've put in the hustle, I've put in the grind, and it doesn't show on the outside. There is not a video that blew up. I do not have 100,000 subscribers. Nothing miraculous happened. If you look at my channel from the outside, it looks like I've been doing nothing. And you don't even know I'm doing this challenge, but I know. Just like my weight loss in that challenge where I did all the hard work and it took a long time to see the benefits, it's going to be the same thing for me probably on YouTube, which brings me to the wins. So in my analytics, I can see how I'm doing underneath. My viewing percentage has gone up. My hours viewed has gone up. My viewer retention has gone up. And more people who have never visited my channel before are visiting for the first time, which shows that YouTube is trusting me and putting my videos out there more. So those are all huge wins. But more so for me personally, this challenge has grown me in the sense that I've had to put myself out there in public. I've had to not knock it out of the ballpark and be okay with it. Everybody is going to have different experiences on YouTube, and other people's experiences don't take away from my experience. I figured out how to spend a little bit of time brainstorming, a little time scripting, and then filming and editing and posting all in one day. And this is not taking me hours. It's taking me more time than I would like, but I've been able to condense it, and I will continue working on that skill. All right, so this is the final part of the process where I decide if I'm going to continue with the challenge, if I'm going to quit, or if I'm going to pivot or iterate. For me, this is a tough one because I have seen so much benefits and so much growth from doing this daily challenge, but I also worried. I am thoughtful and I aim to give you something to consider, but I wonder if I spent a few more days on each video, if I would get to someplace deeper or more beneficial to you. I also know that daily has taken up a lot of my time, and different goals like my health goals or my other goals have kind of fallen to the wayside a bit, and I would like that not to be. So the conclusion I've come up with is I'm definitely not quitting. I want to stay with this daily commitment to 30 days. I've already done 25, so 30 is not too far away. And then I want to figure out at that point if I'm going to continue or iterate or pivot. Those are my options. But this is the process. This is a process of a challenge that is not just a challenge for the sake of being a challenge, but something used as a tool to change your life. This is what we do every month in the Crayon Playbook membership. We take on a new challenge, but again, these are short 30-day challenges for a reason. So for me, I need to figure out if I want to stop at 30 days or continue on. So we'll see. Hopefully this process is helpful to you because you can apply it to any of your challenges. And if you want to do it with a group, let me know. Write a comment, just say I'm in, and I'll send you some information so you can join us for our next challenge. So I'll see you tomorrow for another video. See ya.